Hi, welcome to episode 28 of the TheYarnAndI Capi Podcast, and I'm Capi. I'm so glad to be back with you. I've had a lot of things going on, and we'll talk about them later, but I probably should mention that if you'd like to find me, you can find me as TheYarnAndI on Etsy. I am TheYarnAndI on Ravelry. And also on Instagram, that is my business presence. And if you want the personal fun me, I am TheYarnAndMe on Instagram as well. I have a Ravelry group called TheYarnAndI Capi Podcast group. And you can find information there. I wasn't really good about following along with it last year, and I apologize, and I hope to get a lot better. If there are any of you out there who participated in the 1, 2, 3 for me knit along, crochet along, you might want to check one of the threads because I actually drew some winners for that. And there is a thread there. I have a feeling that the people that are on the thread aren't watching anymore. But anyway, if you are one of those people, you might want to go check because there are 3 prizes outstanding right now. So I have a thread there, and check and see. Maybe you won. What I did is I went back through all of the people from the very beginning of the knit along that we did, the 1, 2, 3 for me knit along, and I chose from all the way at the very beginning of last year all the way through 2017. And actually, if you put something up around before the 20th of January, that's actually when I kind of drew it. So anyway, check and see. All right. What have I been doing? Well, I was sick. That was something we talked about in the last podcast. I had the flu bug that's going around. I had it twice. And so since then, I was dyeing yarn. My yarn was at Stitches West, and I was at Stitches West. And I have a lot of different things to tell you about. Anyway, overall, I think I did pretty good. For the first time that I was there, I gave Jean, my friend Jean from Two Guys Yarns. Hi, Jean. Anyway, I gave him 150 skeins, and I sold 15. And that may not sound like a lot to any of you, but, it could have been a lot worse. And I know that I'm a new kid on the block. At the show was Miss Babs was there, and Plucky was there, and on and on and on, all kinds of people that if I was going to the show, I would be spending my money in different booths. I'm just saying. I did. I have some little things here for Miss Babs. So I just think that I did pretty well considering that I'm brand new. And what the one thing that I did notice is as people walked by the booth, they kind of glanced in, and my yarn was in a certain section. And they'd walk past the booth, and all of a sudden they'd see my yarn and they'd come in. So I kind of feel that was really a good thing. So we'll go from there. Anyway, my yarn is this weekend is at Stitches United, which is in Connecticut. Yes, Connecticut. And Hartford, Connecticut. And so if you are in the Connecticut area and you're going to Stitches United, stop by and say hello to Jean. And then a week and a half from now, I will be flying to Dallas, and I am going to the DFW Fiber Fest. So if you are in the Dallas area, please stop by the booth, say hi. Jean and I are participating in the stitch marker swap. So if you are inclined to do that, that will be in your program. It'll tell you who's participating. And so this kind of gives you the heads up to make up some stitch markers if you happen to be going to one of those shows. So, yeah. So, all right. So let's see. So what did I do at Stitches? Well, most of the time I stayed in the booth. It was very interesting to be in the booth and hear the comments that people were, saying and colors that they chose, that kind of thing. Was really, really informative, and I got to see just exactly how it is if I was to have a booth of my own. And so that was really nice. I found that the best time to do my shopping myself was in the morning. We would get there, they let the vendors in early, and the best time to go shopping was in the morning. So if you were able to get there an hour or so before it was time for the show to open up, you got to go into the booths and look without having, a ton of people around you and trying to wait in lines and that kind of thing. So I didn't buy too awfully much from retail spending. As I mentioned, I got this skein of yarn. This is Miss Babs Caroline fingering weight yarn, and it is 70 superwash, 20 cashmere, and 10 nylon, 400 yards, and it is absolutely lovely, and it's called Mad Hatter. So I've got this little light here, so I'm hoping. Oh, and I don't know. You must have noticed I went back into my shop here. I had some people, very nice person. Thank you, Karen, for saying that I needed to come back in here, that it was just too dark in the family room where I had the computer. And so I actually moved. It's easier for me to transfer the video from directly from the computer to YouTube. So I have, the computer is now in here. So anyways, so this is Mad Hatter. And this is, like I said, in their Caroline base. Okay, now, a totally different area in her booth. I walk around, and what do I pick up? I wanted some fingering. I started to make a blanket that is, I'm calling it my Yarn Friends blanket. So people that I have met or I've talked to back and forth through the podcast or, personally, I want to do a blanket that has different people that have touched my life. And so I wanted to get like just a mini. That's all I wanted. So this is on her Yummy 2-ply toes fingering yarn. And it is 100% superwash merino, 133 yards on 1.3 ounces. So her minis are a good size. So, and what did I pick up? Mad Hatter. Same, look at those colors. I just thought it was happy, and isn't it beautiful? Anyway, so boy, I can pick it. So I was going to turn around because I did get one other skein of Miss Babs, another fingering weight, and oh, here it is. This is another one that is the fingering weight, and it's her Yummy 2-ply toes. So this is the other end of the color spectrum here. And this one is called, Bat S asterisk T. So I'm sure it's supposed to be bat shit crazy. So that's me. So anyway, look at those colors. It's the blues and the orange going into rust and the greens and just all kinds of yumminess. So yeah, it's really, I don't know, it might show the colors better up here even. So that was what I bought. I bought a yarn from someone who, if you're out west, you might be familiar with their yarn, but I had never met them. They're friends of Jean's, and they own the Shakey K Fiber Ranch. And I went over to their booth and looked at the shawls. I mean, if you are ever at one of the shows that they do, and I know they stay pretty much more or less in the West, but it's Larry and Sandy, nice people, down to earth, and they, this is their 80-10-10. It's the sparkle cashmere that they have made for them, and Larry actually is the dyer. And so they had probably, I want to say 20 or 30 shawls that showed how some of their yarns, how they knit up. And I just fell in love with this one. I did a survey from Aurora Knits. I think her name is Frenchie. And basically it wanted to know what my favorite colors were and things like that, and how I should kind of work those colors more into the things that I make. So I'm kind of trying to do that. So this is the skein. It's basically a nice orange, and it goes into the yellow and the hot pink, and so each one kind of fades into the next, but overall, I mean, it's pretty darn bright. So I'm looking forward to this. And they are such sneaky people that when I checked out, I bought this and checked out, and they had one more skein of it, and Sandy put it in the bag. So I actually have two. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the second one. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the first one yet, but maybe a giveaway at some time in the future. So anyway, all right. So that is that. The other things that, who did I see? Well, you may have seen some of my funny Instagram feed that I did see the Grocery Girls. They ended up staying in the same hotel. So when we went to the IHOP for breakfast, and a huge shout out to the Avatar Hotel. That is a very nice hotel. I did a very nice, review on TripAdvisor, and I was thoroughly impressed. Very nice hotel. And Uber was available. We had never used Uber before, and we used it all over, and it was great. So, but the Avatar, if you go to Stitches West, it's a really nice hotel. So I looked into it. It was the only one that was affiliated with the show that had an opening. So that's where that ended up. So I saw the Grocery Girls one morning as we were leaving breakfast, and then I saw them again the day that they were going home. So then I got to see Susan B. Anderson. I've got photographs. I'm going to try and and add them to this before I get put the podcast out. I met Deborah from Meanwhile at the Castle. Emily had already left, and Deborah had promised her that she was going to be right behind her. And so I met her. She came into Kathy at Hula Hut Yarns. I got to meet her and talk to her, lovely person. And so she was, coming in, and I said, it was like I was starstruck, and I just said, the castle. Anyway, so she laughed. And so we took some photos and things like that. And then she actually came into the booth, and she purchased a skein of my yarn. So I was really honored. So that was kind of cool. And then, of course, I got to meet Miss Babs. I mean, I've had some of her yarn before and everything. And my friend Jean said, she's a lovely lady, and she happened to be there, and we talked for a little bit, and it was really, really fun. So, and then there was another person that I met that I have to tell you this story. I have no pictures. My father thought the world of Barry Klein, and if Barry Klein is married to Laura Bryant, and they work with, I think it's Prism Yarns. And my dad used to love Barry's designs because he said that he thought they were well thought out. If you knit any of his shawls or different things that he has, you can wear them the way that they are, intended, but you can also flip them upside down and wear them they'll have a bigger shawl collar, for example, or something like that. And my dad just thought that was incredible that he was that gifted, that he could design those things that way. And so the day that Jean was setting up, I was walking around, and he was in the booth, and I went over and I said, Barry Klein. And he looked at me, and I said, you don't know me, but I told him about my dad and how much, how he thought about him and that kind of thing. And he said, can I give you a hug? So he came out and gave me a hug, and I said to him, I just got this feeling. I said, I think my dad's here. And he said, yeah, he said, look at the hairs were standing up on his yarn, or on his arm. So it was really a cool moment. So, but I didn't get a picture. So Barry, if you happen to see this somehow, I'm sorry, we'll have to do it again. So, all right. So that takes care of, I think, pretty much my retail purchases. Then I bought some things from I have an account with Skacel. And if you're familiar with Skacel, they are the new, North American. That's the words I was looking for. Anyway, they are the North American reps for Addi. Needles, yarn, anything Addi. And so I had been communicating back and forth with Rob, my rep, and he's I think, head salesperson of the company. Anyway, and I had never met him, and it just happened to be, I knew they were sponsors of Stitches West. And so they were there, and I got to meet him, and I got to meet Karen Skacel, and it was really fun. So my acquisitions, some of them are here, some of them have not arrived yet. But I just yesterday I bought one of their knitting machines. I bought the king size knitting machine because I want to try and do some blanks, and I want to do some just interesting. I had some interesting ideas. I did try one of them today. I've got to obviously need to find out from somebody. My idea was, could I knit up a very loose, and I'm talking lacy, fingering weight on it. And my idea was to be able to dye it and get all those nooks and crannies and things. And I thought it might be really interesting. Some people, you might know, start with a sock blank, and they will do the 3 tones. And then what they end up doing after they have dyed it is they unravel it, wind it up, and sell it to you in one of those cakes where it has the center color, then there's the next color, and then there's the outer color in cakes. And so I kind of had thought about, that kind of an idea. So I probably will be doing it, but I think it's going to have to be DK weight or even worsted. So, and that's okay. I do eventually want to get something that will show my yarn. Like, I don't know that I want a regular knitting machine. Brian knows that I really want a circular sock machine. I think that would be really nice to be able, because I just don't knit as fast. And I would like to have some samples of some of my yarns so that people could see how they knit up. And that's one of the problems that I have. So we'll see where that goes. I'll probably get one eventually. He loves me. So, all right. So the other things that I got from Skacel, I have the Addy Flips coming in. They are back ordered. They should be in April. It was based on when you get in line with your order. I did not order a lot of them because I was concerned that my customers will have already gotten them somewhere else. So I got 2 of some sizes, and I got 1 of the others. And so I think I got the whole grouping of them. And I'm going to start with that. If you know that you want some particular size and you don't mind waiting, you can let me know because I can get in line for the next grouping. But I was told by Rob, for the rest of you, these are pretty expensive. I mean, they're $24 retail. Each set of flips, you get the 3 needles. I did try them. I really liked them. I am not fond of double-pointed needles. I don't like all the sticking out. And it's great if I could work on the little 4-inch ones for a sock or something. But, then the stitches start falling off and all of that. So I did try them. They had a hat there that somebody was working on, and it really worked out nice. I really liked them. I did try I don't know what the name of them are, but they were there as well. Oh gosh, I shouldn't be mean, should I? Anyway, they have the plastic ones that are boomerang shaped. Now, I bought the small sock size in bamboo, and every single joint fell apart. So I'm talking because they also you get 3 needles, and you can fit half your stitches on one, half your stitches on the other, and then you have one that you knit to and that kind of thing. And so there was the 2 bamboo ends. Let's go this way so you can see what I'm talking about. You got the 2 bamboo ends, and then you had this little join that was metal. And all of them came unglued. And I think I wasn't very far from the cuff. I was doing cuff down, and I was not very far from the cuff, and they all fell apart. So in my bag, I was taking them in my bag to babysit with the kids, and fell apart. That's not acceptable. And so I actually sent them, and all the other ones I sent back. So anyway. All right. So let's see. What else do I have to tell you? Okay. So I got the king size Addi, the King Express knitting machine. I have only tried doing fingering with it. I will be working on it. It just came yesterday, so I really haven't had time to play with it yet. So I'll be doing that, and I'll tell you about it. The other product that I got from them, I'm going to play. You know how I am. I'm going to play with it because it is called Art Felt, and it's paper. I did not buy any of the kits. I don't like what they did with the kits. I did see, however, let's backtrack, because I intended to say that I thought they were hideous. But I watched Vicki Howell has a YouTube video, and she shows what she has done with the Art Felt paper. And I think what she did with it, I haven't finished the whole thing, but I think based on what I saw of the scarf that she had on and things, I thought it looked really good. So I mean, I'm not trying to criticize. I know that they're trying to make a kit that is something that people can easily do. And that's great. But I just didn't care for what I saw. It's not that it was done bad, but I think this paper has so much more potential than what Skacel is showing. So I bought, I think 10 yards. 10 yards was the minimum. And it's about 60 inches wide, or maybe even wider than that. So what I want to do is I want to cut it into some scarves size, widths. And then what you do is you use your batting and things like that and put it on there, and so you're felting, and you tap it in with your needle. Go check out a video on Art Felt, and it should bring up a video, and you can watch it. It just looks like something fun. And I have fiber. I have a whole bunch of fiber and things here. Some was left from my dad. And I just thought, I want to play with it, and then I want to share what I can create with all of you. So I'm going to do that. Another thing that I got from Skacel, which I thought were really kind of cool. I guess maybe they were out a while ago. I never saw them. These are necklaces, and I'm going to take it out of the plastic because that plastic is making a glare. And these are knitting needles that they are actual Addi knitting needles that they took and made them into, like, this is a bamboo set. Can you see that? This is just a paper, and they've put the needle through, and they've shown you what they want you to, what you can do with this is you can knit some gorgeous yarn back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and you can actually make yourself a necklace. So I lost you. Oh no, I've got to log back in. Excuse me. Just hang on there. And that hasn't happened to me before. Wow. Okay, sorry. Apple said I had to log back in. So anyway, here are some examples on the back of what people have done with them. And I just think it's kind of neat. And then up at the top here, they are magnetized. So you can actually wear this as a necklace. And I will carefully take this one out and show you what I'm talking about. I think this is neat. And they're called a DIY knit accessories. And let's get this out. You will have to do some imagining. But here's the 2 needles. So you'd go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, making your sample. There's the magnet. Put it around your neck. And then you would just, leave some stitches on this needle, some stitches on this needle, and wear it. I thought they were cute. So I did buy some. They retail for $18. I usually try and give you guys a little better price on things. So I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe I might make them 15, something like that. So I will get those in the shop, and you can find these pretty soon. So I'm going to make a few of them, and if nothing else, give them to my daughter. There's full instructions on the inside. So it's basically ready for you to take that beautiful mini skein. I think the minis would be perfect, and actually show it off. So, or better yet, what about like if you're knitting a swatch for a sweater or something, you can just, it's something you can do with that darn swatch that nobody likes to knit. So anyway, just an idea. I have it in the bamboo needles, and I also have them in the metal as well. Okay. So then, let me see. Okay, so I got the machine. I told you about the machine, the knitting machine. I told you about the paper, those. Okay. I think that's everything that I got from Addie. Addie is also, they have that's their wholesale company. Then they have their retail company, which is Makers Mercantile. And from them, I ordered, Karen Skacel was showing these cool leggings, and I bought 2 pair. Now, these leggings are not, they are pretty pricey, but they were knitting terms. The 1 pair I got, I thought it was Superman and superhero things, because I thought it said pow and, wow, and like Batman, if you're back from the 60s and 70s like I am, and you'd see wham, and you'd see all those clouds of terms, and I thought, I'm not wearing superhero, leggings. I'm sorry, no. So when I got up and I actually got close to them and saw them, they weren't superhero words at all. They were like FO, and they were HO, and they were K2P2, and they were all these other things. And I said, oh my gosh, I have to have a pair. So actually I bought 2. They are $80. And Karen Skacel said they literally cost her $80 to have them made. It's the fabric and everything. They're very nice. I can't say anything about them because I don't have them yet. But at the show, they were on sale for $60. And so she said actually she's losing money on them. But anyway, so I bought them. And the thing I like about them, I mean, I am a larger woman. They come all the way up to a 6XL. Or 6, I think they're, 6XL is what it is. So they have them for the people that are far bigger than I am. And I think that's nice because some of them, I don't have the pamphlet right here, but the other set that I bought looks like it's a Fair Isle knitting pattern on the legs and stuff. They had several different ones. So go to Maker's Mercantile and see what, see if you, at least you could look at them if you're interested. But hold off on buying them yet because I think if I contact Karen, I think there might be another coupon code because I know they are going to do other shows. And I know they're going to be at DFW. They will not be there, but somebody representing them will be there. So, I'll try and get the coupon code for you, and that'll save quite a bit. So, and I'll show them to you as soon as I get mine. So they're not here yet. So anyway, one more Skacel thing. Okay, there is a beautiful free pattern that I saw on, they had a 2018 book of different things that Skacel offers, what they're featuring, that kind of thing, patterns that use their yarns and things. And as if I need any more yarn. So I did not buy all of this yarn for me. This is, it is called, where's my thing here? I'll just open it up. Edition 6 is the name of this yarn. And if you've ever knit with a Zauer ball or this is Shakey yarn, and I think they do the Zauer balls and different things like that. And this is their edition 6. It's made in Germany. And basically it is like kind of marled like you would do if you were like two tones are wound together, plied together. That's the word I'm looking for. Anyway, and this is a particular colorway because they have a pattern that is called the Holy Scarf. And I think it's HOLEY scarf. And I thought it was really a cool idea. You kind of knit across and then you knit across a certain number of stitches, then you bind off and then you go, and you repeat the process across and then coming back, you put them back on. So it ends up giving holes in the scarf. And I just thought it was a really nice looking scarf. And this was the colorway the scarf is done in. And so I am only looking at using 2 of these skeins. It takes 2 to make a scarf. So I am only looking at using 2. So I'm going to put the other ones in my shop. And I want to say they should retail for around maybe 12 or 14, something like that each. They're a 50-gram skein, and I will probably, make it so that they're like 20% off. So if somebody's interested, because it does take 2 skeins to make a scarf, but really the color changes on this, they are my colors. So anyway, And each skein looks a little bit different, but of course it depends on where you start. Because here's another skein, exact same, and look at it starts with the blues. So it's kind of like the Noro yarns where depending on where you start in the skein is the colorway. So it looks different, but these are actually both the exact same colorway. So anyway, something to think about playing with. And it makes a more affordable gift. You know, if you're doing something to give away to somebody, it makes it a little bit more affordable than buying hand-dyed yarn. So, okay, so let's see. Some of you might have seen I did a quick little vlog today, a live one on Instagram if you saw it, and I have been doing some different dyeing, and this scarf, I dyed this scarf myself. It's a silk scarf. I used my dyes that I use on my yarns, and this was, I did it in the neon colors, and first I tried all my neons. You know, I like bright colors, but the neons, I learned a lesson, and the lesson is that too much of a good thing is not a good thing. So, what happened is when the neon colors go on the yarn, they look one way, and as they dry, they get significantly lighter. So they look great. I mean, if you go to my Instagram feed and you see the yarn that I hand painted with these neon colors, it's beautiful. But when it dried, it was like, zoom, you know, like, oh my gosh, it was just, no. So I had these 2 skeins of yarn, and then I had also taken this silk scarf. I will tell you that I bought this. I was looking for some things that I could wear as a bigger person that would be of my art, but yet I can't wear a sweater or a shawl because I end up getting too hot. So I wanted something that would also show my talents and be lightweight and airy. So I went online and I found this lady on Etsy. Her name is Judy Stinton. And she paints scarves and shawls, silk pieces. And she teaches classes. And she said she had so many people that requested wanting to buy the blanks, these scarves and things, all sewn up. So you order this scarf from Judy, and it's $15. And so then I dyed it myself, and I dyed it with my neon colors. And again, just like the skein of yarn, it was way too bright. So what I did, I'm going to tell you what I did because I mentioned that I was going to talk about this. I watched a video. I had heard about glazing. The term glazing, when you can do it purposefully, or you can use the technique when, let's say, you dye up some yarn and you're not exactly crazy about it. And so glazing is, you do it at a higher acid rate, so about 3 or 4 times the acid, and you can put an already dyed skein into the pot. And where I learned this from, and I want to give a huge shout out to Jessie from, she is Monkey Dyed Yarns is who she is on Instagram, and she has a podcast on Knit Up and Dye. Okay, like shut up and knit, but knit up and dye. Okay, and she has amazing videos. I learned more from Jessie in a few episodes than I have learned from anybody out there. I do different things than Jessie does, and she's been starting to watch my podcasts, and she loves mine equally as much as I love hers, because we're two totally different people. But if those of you out there that want to learn about some dyeing techniques and things like that, please check her out. Just absolutely incredible, the things that she tells. So she talked about glazing. It was like, I was sitting there with these 2 skeins of yarn and this scarf, and I'm looking at them going, oh my God, what am I going to do? Because nobody's going to buy that bright yarn, and I'm not going to wear the scarf that I came up with. So when she talked about glazing, what I did was I took this neon yellow, I had yellow, orange, pink, and green, like the acid type green. And how I dyed it is I literally soaked it in vinegar and, my usual solution that I do my yarns at, where, just a splash of vinegar in a bowl, and I usually dunk the yarn in. What I did is after I took the yarn out, I dunked this scarf in, okay? So in it goes in the water. I let it soak for 20 minutes. I took it out of the water. And what I saw to do online, there are tutorials on painting on silk. And what the person showed was to take this and basically like accordion pleat it almost like that. So it was wet. And basically I accordion pleated it, and I drizzled on with a pipette some color here and there and everything. And then I undid it. I know I'm not making a lot of sense. I'm going to get another scarf from Judy. I just looked in her shop, I think is on vacation. So I'm going to get another scarf, and then I will actually do it with you. But, so what happened was, that's how I dyed it, okay? Didn't like it. So when I heard about glazing, what I did is I put some blue, see, notice the blue here, very important. I had some blue dye, and I did some yarn. This was my absolutely horrible. And I said it was maybe spelled a little different than horrible. Different spelling of that word. Okay. So what I did is I put this in the blue, and look at what happened. I mean, it put a blue tint on all of the yarn, and by increasing the acid is the secret, so that the blue struck quickly. Okay, so it struck quickly. It went on the outside of the yarn, basically, and every color just got a little bit of a blue tint. And it's perfect. It took that awful neon colors that, I mean, this is neon. What I got was way, way neon compared to this. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous skein. There's pinks in there. There's purples in there. There's the yellows, but everything has just a slight haze of blue to it. So, I mean, it's beautiful. And the same happened with this scarf. Now, look at, I mean, these are beautiful. It reminds me of Monet. But everywhere that you see blue on this scarf is where it stayed white because of the scrunching up and where there were places that were resisted. You got the white splotches and stuff. So everywhere that there is blue, it was white, and all the other colors, just like in the yarn, it muted them down. I could not be more pleased with this. So I'm going to get some more, and it's a really easy, it's 120-inch like circumference, and it's just a really easy to wear scarf. I'm thrilled, and Easter's coming, so I have something to wear for Easter. I'm happy. So anyway, I also got, she had a cape, and I bought a couple of kind of like blouse. They would go over. You'd have to wear a shell underneath or something, a cami or something underneath, but they just go over. So I still have those that I can dye. So, maybe I'll do that and show that to you. But, yeah, these scarves for $15, it's something you can try. And really and truly, I promise you, if you know your colors, you can't mess up, because I thought I had totally destroyed this. And I didn't. So, very nice. So, you can check out Judy Stinton. I think she's on Facebook. She might even be on YouTube, where, she shows some different things about her painting. So, and she is in the San Diego area, for those of you that might be, living in the San Diego area. So, really fun. So, and like I said, here's the result. I have 2 of these skeins. These I don't think I got on Etsy yet, but I will be adding them. No, these might go to Dallas. Actually, I think these are going to go to Dallas, because they are my vanilla that I have. I had some new cards made up for my yarns, and for the ones that are going to the shows, and so I know I have the vanilla cards. And let's see. So this is a colorway I dyed up. This is it's the one that I put online, and I'm calling it Joules, Joules, because I am a science and math geek, which maybe a lot of you don't know, but that is me. And so these will only be available in my shop, because this is ultra merino. It's something that I bought a 10-pack of to try. I think it's lovely. I mean, this is really soft. It is 490 yards to 100 grams. So it's good for a shawl, and it actually, I mean, it's plump. I guess because it's the 100% superwash merino, it is very plump, and I think it will, it looks thicker than a fingering weight, so it actually looks like it's more of a heavy fingering. So it's pretty neat. The only thing is, I'm not taken with the color. It is the jewel tones. I purposely used the purple, which is, basically the royal type purple. I used emerald, and I used vermilion. That was the red that I chose to use because I thought it looked the closest to a ruby. So my idea was that this was going to be, jewels. So, I'm not sure I'm real keen on the way the colors go together. So my daughter is calling, and I am going to decline it and call her back. Yeah. Anyway, so I may try the glazing technique on this. And if I do, I will try and take a video. I'm not sure what color I'm going to glaze with. And I was sort of thinking possibly a blue, because it would just darken up everything, and blue would go with every one of these colors. And so I'm thinking of a darker blue, and I'm hoping that if I do that for you, or I'm hoping to take a video of it and it will turn out. But if it looks horrid, I will probably just not show that video and tell you about it later. So anyway, all right, I know I've been on for a long time. I just did a shop update. I put a lot of my yarns that I had never had a chance to get them up on Etsy. And so most of them were DK weight. And I had taken some photographs. Some of these had been online at one point. I think a couple of them. Oh, this one. This Raspberry Melba was on before, and nobody seemed to be interested in it at all. And I did my Finding the Fade DK, the shawl with it. That was Andrea Mowry's pattern for Knit Stars 2.0. And all of a sudden, I thought, well, I may as well use it. Nobody wants to buy it. Oh my gosh. You know, it's a beautiful yarn. I mean, like I'm doubting myself, but yes, I just thought, oh, okay. See, it's got the raspberry color, and then there's, this is actually showing up even darker than it really is, but all of the little bits of rust in there. And it's a very, very pretty. If you go online, you will see the shawl. I had a beautiful day on Sunday. It was really nice and bright outside, so I went outside and I took all these photographs. And these colors just came alive. So check out the DKs. I know it's kind of late in the season, but I have all of these different. This one is called the Raspberry Melba DK. This is called Saffron Spice. Now this is coming out darker than it is, but it's actually more of a, I don't know if I can get it to. All right, there's like greens and rusts and golds and just all these different colors in this. And so one of the colors I used was saffron. That was the color in the Dharma dyes. So that's why I called this one Saffron Spice. And then I have, this one is Sparkling Wine, because this is like in the aubergine colors. And then I think I used some olive in here and the gold. And, you know, there's just all kinds of beautiful colors. Go online and take a look at them. And, okay, this is another Saffron Spice. I've got this one, which I called Chai Spice. So it's got a lot of the colors that are, the different spices are in chai. And so this one's got more of more browns to it than the saffron, and yet it's got more of the gold and things like that. So you can kind of get a look at that. So, and then I have one, or actually I have 4 of these, but they're a solid, almost a solid, it's a tonal of a goldenrod. And if you look at the pictures, it goes pretty much with all of these. So, yeah, this one. So anyway, check out the photographs that are that I posted on Instagram. Take a look at those. And I have still 2 of the Lady Furnico's colorways, which also goes with this gold. And these were all dyed for the Ann Arbor Fiber Expo, and I just now am getting them posted. So what I have is I ordered some more of my pom-poms from Rebecca, the gal that makes them for me. And look at how this one has the browns, and it's basically a creamy color, and it's got the tips that have the brown and the dark brown in it. And look at them with that one, or with this one. I mean, any of them that have a little bit of the brown to it. This one here especially, because it's got the cream and the brown. So I have these pom-poms that I need to get online. And so what I was sort of thinking about was that I would maybe take and price it a pom-pom and a skein of yarn, and then I'd give you a break on the 2 of them together. These pom-poms are going to be, they are 6-inch pom-pom. They are very full, very nice. I mean, and these are like custom faux fur colorways that she gets. And so I was going to, these are going to be about $11, I think. And so I thought I would do something putting the 2 together, or offer that you could just buy the yarn by itself without the pom-pom. So anyway, so that's something. This one, look at this one. This one is, I don't know if it's going to come out there. There is purple. There is like a purple shade in this one. And it's also got the tips and things, but you know, that one looks good with, I mean, they're just beautiful. I have a few different colors. I have a rosy kind of a color, a really pretty pink. I don't want to call it a pink. It's more of a mauve. And I've got a whole bunch of the different pom-poms. So I thought, well, I'm going to put them on. And, you know, maybe some of you might want to get a jump on next Christmas. So, anyway, that's what I'm thinking. This one doesn't have a name yet, but this one, look at that with it. I mean, you can kind of see the purple in there, and this one I haven't named. It looks like wine of some kind. Yeah. So, I will put these on, and you can check those out. I have, let's see, and then I have these 2. These are more Easter colors, I guess, colorways. I did these for Ann Arbor, and I know some of them sold while I was there, and some didn't, but look at, they're just beautiful. And like if you have a little, like one of these, this one's called Pink Pony, and this is Danielle's pony, my one granddaughter. And then I named this one Bella's pony because they remind me of My Little Pony colors. But I mean, they make very nice mittens or a hat. And then this one actually goes with some other yarn that I dyed, and I called it Pop of Color. This is the only skein that I have in DK. The rest of my skeins are they are in fingering weight, and I think I'm looking at my stock over here. I think those are all with Gene at the different fiber shows. So he's kind enough to drive. I just get my yarn to him and he drives it hither and yon. So that works out pretty well for me. So, all right. I think I've yammered on long enough. It's been an hour and 2 minutes. I am going to be working to try out that knitting machine, and I will get back with you about that. I will get back with you about if I over dye or glaze. Glaze is the term. I will videotape that. I really think a blue will work. I just have to pick the right one. And please check out, I mentioned Jessie of the Knit Up and Dye podcast. Check her out. I received a call or a message from Lady Fernico Creations, Marlicia, and she and Talia of the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast asked me if I would like to participate in the autism awareness, Cal, and Lau, I guess, crochet along, knit along, and loom along, okay? So I said yes, I would be honored to do that. So that will be starting April 1st. I know that if you make entries to it, that there are extra entries if you use my yarn or if you use Marlicia's yarn. And is it Laura? I'm not sure if Laura, I don't know if she has yarn. I will find that out for you. But anyway, check it out. It should be all on the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast. And I know that April 1st is coming up. It's a 3-month knit along. And so you can, as long as it has, you'll have to look at Marlicia's, her rules. But as long as it had a red of some kind in it, it counted for. If you're working on something that has red in it, it can have pink in it. It can have anything in the red spectrum. It could almost have a little orange in it. But as long as you are knitting with colors that represent the heart and heart disease and heart awareness and all of that, can be used. So any shades of pink, salmon, any of them, they're pretty reasonable about what their expectations are. So check that out, and you can post every week. You post your progress, and they, I know they have drawings periodically from just the thread of working on something, and then they have the FO thread at the end. So anyway, check that out, and I'll probably end up having a prize or something along the way with mine as well. So I think that's enough, and I gave you a lot of information on this one, and enjoy. That's what it's all about, is enjoying what we do, and that's the way I feel about it. So anyway, thank you, and we'll talk soon.